Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Adam RPG with me, Bring It On. Let's talk to the denizens of the casino, starting with this guy. The man in front of you feeds coins to the slot machine vehemently, and puffs at his cigarette mercilessly. He seems totally absorbed by this, so it's no surprise it takes him some time to register you're there. Man, don't stand in the way of sharp card Brentsilov. I'm waiting for my big win. Okay, play all you want. Not super exciting. The mustache man gives everyone in the casino a quick once-over as he shuffles a deck of cards. Seems like he's not even looking in your direction, but you still feel he noticed you. This is my informer from the city. Fidel, my favorite client. Hey, can I ask you some questions? Oh, no, buddy. I only sell information. I'm not the one for leisurely talk. I see you got some cards. Want to play a game? Sure. You know the rules of the atomic blackjack? Refresh my memory. No problem. First, each one of us gets a card. Next turn, you must grab another. The goal is getting the card value of 21 points. If you succeed, you get the bank. If you ever shoot and get more than 21 points, you lose. If nobody gets 21 points, the person with the highest score, as long as he didn't overshoot, wins. Sounds easy enough, right? Oh, I forgot. The point cost of cards: aces are 11 points, kings are 4, queens are 3, jacks are 2, and other cards are not even used. Easy, right? Got it. Deal. Hold up. I like playing for money. How about betting 5, 10, or 20 rubles? I'll bet 5. You both place your bets, and the man starts shuffling his cards. When he finishes, it's time to play. Start the game. Your opponent has drawn. It is now your turn. You got a queen. 3 points. You don't have 3 points. Alright, we'll just go through this. We have 14. I'm going to do one more. We'll call it at 18. Your opponent has 19 while you have 18. You lost. Of course he does. Don't fret. You'll have better luck next time. And now I have to go too. I won't have better luck next time. I only have 2 luck. Oh, also, off camera, I did go and hang out with Belladonna a few times to see if I could trigger the stash event, I guess. Not really an event. She tells you where her stash is at. It took me 2 hangouts with her without any protection before she told me where it was at. And then, so I reloaded and I tried it again, and it took more than 2 times. So I think it's randomized how many times you have to hang out with Belladonna to get the stash revealed. And it turns out the stash is in Ultranoye, which I think I already found the stash she's talking about. Because when I was there earlier, we found that one stash, like the square stash in the dirt. And then we also found this stash in the rock. And I don't think there's a third one there. There might be. It might be one of those ones that only triggers once she tells you where it's at. But I don't think it's going to be worth it. Alright, let's follow up with Debbie Kristou and her cohort. The young woman in white seems to have trouble staying on her feet. She's staggering drunk, but still clutching a cloudy glass of moonshine. It's obviously not her first. Having a few drinks is normal, especially if everyone else is doing it. Having a few drinks is normal, especially if everyone else is doing it. The woman keeps repeating this weird mantra, completely ignoring your presence. It seems unlikely you'll be able to distract her. Wave your hand dismissively and step away. The mustached man is hunched over a bottle of foxed beer. He looks lost in his own thoughts. Weren't you the one advocating against alcohol consumption? I was, but sometimes a drink can be truly healing, especially if one is in a bad mood. Shrug and leave him be. Having noticed you, the man releases a heavy sigh. He looks storm-beaten and unprepared for a long conversation. How's life? What are you sulking about? The people of the waste bring me great despair, my godless creature. Pray, do not add insult to that injury. Shrug and leave him be. The serious-looking man is drinking from a dirty glass. He looks sad, tragic even. Having noticed you, he releases a heavy sigh and closes his eyes. Yeah, okay. And Debbie Kristou herself. Debbie Kristou is staring gloomily down at a counter sticky with wet rings and spilled fluids. She's clutching a glass of some kind of muddy moonshine. She sips at it slowly. I pat Debbie Kristou on the back. The woman puts down her glass and slowly turns to you. Hmm? What do you want? I just wanted to pay the lovely lady a visit. Smile. The woman smiles uncertainly. Her look is one of incomprehension. Hmm? What do you mean, my child? Nothing much. Just felt like talking about your life and travels. Maybe sharing some of my own stories. Oh, hee hee. Well, where should we talk? The local brothel has rooms available, although it's a strange place, I must admit. A great idea. I'll see if I can talk the brothel bouncer to letting us in. Okay, we've already read that. Listen, pal. Can you let me and a lady friend of mine in one of your rooms? Not with one of our ladies, I assume. Sure, but it will cost you. 100 rubles and you can make yourself at home. Come on, man. Why are you being like that? That's a bit too pricey, don't you think? Too pricey? Well, maybe. Fine. I'll give you a 50% discount. But that's my final offer. Well, here's the money. Happy to pay. Hand the money over to the goon. Fine. Go ahead. Call your lady friend here. I'll make sure the pimps don't make a scene because you're bringing your own lady here, instead of using one of theirs. Merci. Beaucoup? I know mercy means thanks. I don't know what beaucoup means. Devi Kristou meditatively rolls the glass of moonshine between her palms. Noticing you, she winks playfully. So, my child, you still haven't managed to convince the Cerberus guarding the secret room to let us have our conversation in private. I did convince him. Let's go. Ooh la la. Let's go. Yep. The two of you stroll past the brothel guard, and the door to the private office closes behind you with a gentle click. With an affectionate smile, Devi Kristou playfully rearranges her long hair. What shall we do now? Start a meaningful conversation about lofty matters. Alright, children. Look away. Alright, so I don't remember... What did I say about Belladonna? I know I mentioned I tried hanging out with Belladonna to reveal the stash location. I don't think it's going to be worthwhile. The money that I have I need for the Red Fighter upgrade. So I think it's 3,000 for the next upgrade that I need to get the final companion. And I'm sitting right there at it. Is that a mustache or is his mouth open? Poor Oxygen is standing inside. After such a long discussion, I need a little rest, my Apollo. What's my cat's name? Don't, Rather you not use that for pillow talk. Alright, let's talk to the Barkeep. It's good for radiation. I don't really run across that much radiation. I think I'm fine with selling this. Plump Barkeep is cleaning the glasses, pouring booze for some of his patrons, and chatting up the others. As you walk up, he plunks a nice clean glass down on the bar and says, "Ah, new customer. Never seen you here before, and I know all the locals. Show me the menu, buddy. I want a drink." All of them, huh? Maybe you can tell me something interesting. That depends on what you find interesting. How's it going? Everything's fine. Whether there's war or it's peacetime, people always need a strong drink. Even more so during wartime. So we're not going bankrupt anytime soon. Well, that's for sure. Hey, another question. What can you tell me about yourself? Name's Peter Kirillovich, originally from Uglich or Uglik. I've been working in pubs since I was 10. Priceless experience. The patrons like and respect me, and vice versa. You can hear people mumbling in the hall. Some barkeep you are. With prices so high, you're more of a crook. Peter ignores the comments, with no sign of being offended. My customers adore me. What can I say? Yeah, seems like. Anyway, another question. How's life in Krasno? It's a big city, and pretty rich too. Krasno is the Rome of this region. The streets are safe, even at night. It's everything an honest, hardworking person could wish for. Is that so? Great. Can I ask you a few more questions? Anything interesting happened lately? I don't want to sound like some gossiping washerwoman, but I think someone is letting drugs pass through the border guard fortress north of here. Me and some other people believe one of the guards is somehow connected to the drug cartels. If experience has taught me anything, if one of them is in on it, likely they all are. How interesting. Know any other juicy rumors? At one time, this local told me about a falling star that, according to him, wasn't a star at all, but an alien spaceship. Scary, huh? Though the guy did drink 3 liters of vodka that night. Alright, we'll do one more rumor. There's this rumor about an expedition from Adam getting lost somewhere in the wastes. And nobody knows where they are now, or where they were going. I see. That should be it. Your leisure is my pleasure. Alright, I was just checking stuff out. Bye. Oh, this is new. Noticing you, she smiles playfully. Look who we have here. Greetings to you, my Eros. Companion and assistant to the glorious Aphrodite. What more could you be looking for? I want to ask a couple of questions. Sure, go ahead. What would you like to know? How did you become Devi Kristou? The woman smiles dreamily. What else should I call myself, after the visions through which I saw my past self in the body of the crucified God and his weeping mother? Many such visions have I experienced, from seeing myself as a corpulent Indian prince resting under a sacred fig tree, to becoming a white-bearded Chinese official, founder of the art of war. But agree with me on this. The name Devi Banana Kristou Gautama Sunju, or Sunju, is a real mouthful. Yes, that does seem complicated. One more question. I'm listening. What are your plans now? Devi Kristou's answer is simultaneously full of irritation and pride. What are the plans of a voice, if not the quest for an ear ready to receive its message? We will move forward, deeper into the wastes. As far away from these animals as possible, my child. Away from these heathens. As an exotic, feminized Moses, I will find and free my people from the shackles of atheism, and I will guide them straight towards the sun. But not right now. In the future. That's some plan you've got there. Let me ask you something else. Where are you from? Originally, I mean. Once there was a beautiful valley between the Tigris and Euphrates, where my first incarnation was fashioned from a rib bone. All was fine and well until... Oh, I apologize, my child. Plainly you speak of this, my current body. It's quite simple. I'm from Odessa, the humor and New Age philosophy breadbasket of the nation. Nice to meet you. May I ask something else? Have you heard any interesting gossip lately? Gossip? My enemies have accused me of being overly occultish. Yet they remain silent in the face of these modern savages, who ritualistically bury goat heads when the stars are right. And they cover themselves in black blood and scream, Fatagan, Ia Fatagan, until the sky falls black as that same vile Ichor, or Ichor. Because these crazy people have not vanished from the face of the earth, the skeptics are just afraid of them. That's why they dare not speak of them. That's quite a story. Can I ask you something else? And that's it. Of course, O mighty Bucephalus. What do you want? Bucephalus is Alexander the Great's horse, who, when it was killed in battle, he named a whole city after it. Alexander the Great was very attached to his... I'll just say stuff. He had a really close friend, and obviously the horse. The horse has a fun story behind it too. It was deemed untamable, and his father didn't want anything to do with it. And so Alexander had to convince his father to let him try and tame it. And the way the story goes, he realized the horse was afraid of its shadow. And so what he did is he turned the horse away from the sun, or I guess towards the sun, so it wouldn't see its own shadow. And when he mounted it, he was able to ride it, and so his father bought him the horse. And that's the same horse that he took with him on his campaign into the east. You see a stooped man with a white beard bending over a mug of muddy beer. He seems to be looking for something in the dirty mug, and sighs every time he realizes this something is not there. As you approach, the old man cheers up. My oh my, who do we have here? A weary traveler looking for an evening of stimulating conversation? A passerby, perhaps? Or a rogue sizing up a helpless mark? Tell me, my friend. Actually, I was looking for an interesting conversation. The man smiles broadly and takes a sip from his mug. Today's your lucky day, my friend. You're in the right place to hear an exciting story. One of these stories might even be followed by an interesting offer. But perhaps you would like to ask a few questions first. Find out who you're talking to and so on. Yes, I'd like to ask a few questions. The man drums on the tabletop with his long, thin fingers. Questions. Well, why not learn more about a person you plan to do business with? Ask. I'm listening. Who are you? My name is Ivan Chertikilo. In the olden times, they would have called me Master of Ceremonies, the Keeper of the Ancient Spirit. These days, they mostly call me a lunatic. But they're all so wrong, oh so wrong, to call me that. Okay, then another question. Of course, what do you want to know? What are you doing here? You can call me an amateur historian. Seeing that we're unlikely to have any future, I've taken to studying the past. Oh, how delightful it is. Yeah, well, I have another question. What can you tell me about this place? This whole boasts a glorious past, just like the entire city. It used to be great, and now it's in tatters. It's all so sad. Perhaps one day someone will be able to right this historical wrong. Who would that be, I wonder? Can you answer another question? Have you heard anything interesting lately? Perhaps the story of the pseudo kids will interest you. A long time ago, there used to be a Boy Scout camp for rich kids. Ordinary children weren't accepted there. The nation's cream of the crop were gathered in this camp to be schooled in communist ideology and loyalty, to learn how to fight and die for the ideas of Marxism-Leninism. People say not all of those kids were evacuated in time. There are rumors that some of them still wander the waste in their old pioneer uniforms, like ghosts from the long-dead past. But hunters and rangers have disproved this legend. They say that what looks like a Boy Scout from afar, at a closer glance turns out to be a disgusting mutant. A creature of the night, some deformed sheep or goat, mutilated by nature so badly it resembles a tiny human figure. They say if you shoot such a mutant, it will cry out like a child to warn its brothers of danger. That's why people in these parts are afraid of the night. It's full of nightmares you wouldn't wish on your deadliest enemy. Yeah, sounds terrifying. A great idea. What will we talk about? Now let's discuss what you wanted to tell me right from the start. Some story, right? Alright, 1 second. I think he has a lot to say, so I gotta get some coffee in me. My throat's also a little sore today, so hopefully my reading isn't too rough rougher around the edges than it usually is. The man nods, a smile playing about his lips. He apparently doesn't care about anything as much as he cares about sharing this story. My friend, I promised you a story, but I'll start with a question. What do you say if I told you that a mere 150 years ago, that a city we're in right now, this godforsaken hole, was the most interesting and merry place in all the Russian Empire? Who knows? Many years have passed, and anything could have happened since then. I believe you. The man shrugs. You may be right, young man. Times change and traditions fade, but it is impossible to restore at least some fragment of the glorious past. For this place can indeed boast of a great past. The city, given that horrid Bolshevik name, Krasno, was once known as Igorgrad. Count Rovsky, Empress Ekaterina the Second's favorite nobleman, founded it. By the will of its of his wisest architect, the city blossomed with dozens of gambling houses and other attractions the Count could not create anywhere else due to the church's restrictions. Igorgrad became the capital of amusement. Competitions in ping pong, dwarf tossing, billiards, garodki, and even chess were held here. And those who thought to put an end to the merrymaking were confronted by a threatening copy of the shield belonging to the Count, the founder of the city. The shield hung above all the gambling and drinking places, a message to the enemies of fun. This place is under the protection of the noble house of Rovsky. Okay, now I've heard the story. What do you suggest I do? Well, you see, the thing is that Count Rovsky loved his city. He even requested in his will that his original shield be hung at the city's biggest tavern, so everyone could see it and remember his legacy. That's much better than burying the relic in a grave, isn't it? But unfortunately, the shield remained there only until the revolution, after which the Bolsheviks confiscated it and sent to a local history museum. Many years later, after the bombing, museum curator Boris Zveklov fled Krasno with whatever valuable artifacts he could carry to a tiny village called Otronoye. People say this is where he met his end, and what I say is that it's time to return Rovsky's shield to its rightful place. Hang it in this bar to bring back some historical splendor. Who knows? Perhaps it'll make life here a little brighter. What do you say? Will you help me return the shield? Sounds like a good idea. I'll bring the relic back. The man is glowing with happiness. Really? This is wonderful. The best news I've had in a year at least. Please return when you have done this good deed for our city. Okay. Bye. Alright, so we have 3 out of the 4 pieces of the shield. I don't remember exactly where the last piece is at. It's either in the border guard fortress or it's in the slave fortress? Bandit fortress? It's in one of the fortress locations. I just don't remember which one. He looks new. A gray-haired man with a neat beard is taking a slow walk, mumbling barely distinguishable words. As you approach him, you understand that what you're hearing are mathematical terms. In this case, the quadrature of the circle will be equal to... Oh, I haven't noticed you there, young man. How long have you been following me? Are you a student? Math students? Are you some kind of local professor? Or kind of a local professor? An elderly man smiles apologetically, as if he's feeling guilty for not introducing himself earlier. Tadeu Petrovich Krabklov, at your service, young man. Not gonna lie, it's been over 20 years now since I've been a professor. Nowadays I'm a simple man who lives out his days with his wife Frida, from time to time providing advice to quote the words of the immortal Alexander Pushkin, a young and unfamiliar tribe, on various technical issues. It's sad that you cannot share your knowledge with a wider audience. Actually, you're good with words, and a bold and confident speaker. You should really write a book, so your knowledge won't go to waste. Yes, write a book. But you see, even though my brain is able to store a lot of engineering secrets, I never learned how to do several things at once. I do have plans to write a number of textbooks for the future generations, but I'm constantly distracted by all these consulting jobs that I need to take in order to feed my small family. Do you think that you could have written all these textbooks if someone was to, say, finance your work? Ah, young man, these jokes make my old heart ache for no good reason. Do you know how happy it would have made me to write these textbooks if it would have magically received at least 10,000 if I would have magically received at least 10,000 rubles needed to secure a decent life for me and my wife? But that's not something one can just get because destiny decided to show kindness. And here's where you're wrong. Right now I'm a bit short on cash, but I promise to sponsor your work as soon as I have some money. With all due respect, my friend, I find it hard to believe. Why waste our hopes on the impossible in this cruel world? I'll prove you wrong as soon as I have the money. But for now, let's change the topic. Sure. May I ask you some questions? Sure, unless you're looking for my advice, because in that case, I'm afraid I will need to charge you. Aren't you getting any retirement money from the city? Well, it's a hard no, of course, because a certain man named Maslov, in his time, secured payment of retirement benefits to the veterans of this world's last war. However, the veteran workers of intellectual labor are invisible to the fine gentleman in the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, there were times when I received a very pleasant monetary compensation from the Chamber of Commerce for giving lectures on the proper care for the ventilation locks in their bunker. Alright, may I ask something else? I am all ears. What kind of advice do you provide, if it's not a secret? I'm an engineer. During my time I've worked on developing some cutting-edge technologies, from new types of weapons to the newest bomb shelters. My knowledge helps the people who came into possession of such objects without receiving the necessary training. I'm also quite good with hydraulic systems. Like, for example, the last consultation I gave was about repairing an irrigation pump. Some brain you must have. One more question. What else do you want to know? Be so kind to share some local gossip with me. I'm not the one for gossip and rumors, but I can share an interesting observation with you. According to my calculations, the probability of the legendary organization Atom being real is close to 99%. It's funny how this obviously real organization first became known as an urban legend. But it's indeed the truth. Atom is real, and I am one of its agents. Your words make the man burst out laughing. You're quite a comedian, young man. Back in my teaching days, people like you were sent to compete in the club of the funny and inventive people. Just don't tell these jokes to the city militia. God forbid you get arrested. Oh, fine, I won't. One more question. Tell me where are all the interesting places around here? I'm afraid I can't help you here. Go take a walk around the city. Talk to people. I am sure you'll find someone who will be able to help you. I understand. This is quite a conversation, but I should get going. Okay. So we talk to this guard, and we'll probably call it an episode after that. But first, some coffee. Because my throat is giving me a lot of trouble. It seems fate has not been kind to this militiaman, and especially to his right ear. It's been split through, as if someone narrowly missed his skull with a machete. Or more likely it was the blow of a simple axe that did this damage. Having noticed you, the man spits on the ground like a mobster and crosses his arms. What you want? Nothing unusual. I just wanted to ask how your service is going. It's alright. As soon as I heard they were recruiting new militia officers in Krasno, I immediately ran away from my gang. Crap. I'm gonna say I ran away from my village and got a job here. You know, to shake down some of these city rubes. I mean, to protect and serve them. Yeah. How did you manage to cut up your ear like that? Oh, that? It's a mistake I made when I was young. You should have seen what happened to the guy who did this to me. Uh-huh. That's not how he would have said that. I heard any interesting rumors or gossip lately? Did you hear about Dan? Smart guy, let me tell you. His is a rags to something slightly better than rags story. He had Ochinoye and all the other factions in the area answering to him. Even here in Krasno, he's considered a kingpin. Respect. Yeah, he's respectable, alright. But I must be I can't talk. Yeah, he's respectable, alright, but I must get going now. Alright, so this guy... I think he gives us the quest for the veterans. Because veterans we keep running across that are getting the pension, there's a small quest with them. I think you just have to go around and talk to him. But we might get that quest from the Chamber of Commerce. Oh. It's gonna... Oh, I just grabbed it through the wall. Alright. That works for me. Alright, I'm going to call the episode here. In the next one, we'll talk to this guy and deal with the veterans, or... Again, I don't remember if he gives us the quest or not. And then I think we're getting close to wrapping it up. Well, no, we're not. I take that back, because we have all the buildings on this side here. So, 3 buildings. One of them is the Militia HQ. One of them is a hotel. I think this is a weapons shop, if I'm not mistaken. We still have this guy, the movie theater. This guy who has a lot to say. We have the whole Chamber of Commerce to go through. Another guy appears here. I think we have to be level 10. I'm not 100% on that, which we're close to. We're level 9, so at level 10, a new NPC appears here and gives us a pretty cool quest, along with 2 really good rewards, especially for a melee build. Anyway, I'm going to call it here, and we'll just keep talking to people in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode.